The Scream was created in 1893. This time period is synonymous with the Symbolist movement. The Symbolist movement was an art movement in the late 19th century. It can be characterized by the metamorphical images that can be found throughout the piece. The art is meant to symbolize a deeper issue or cause. These symbolic images were ways to represent messages and themes through art. Symbolism was largely created as a reaction against the art messages and themes throughout art. Symbolism was largely created as a reaction against the art movements that dominated the landscape at the time. These include realism and naturalism. The Symbolist movement attempted to represent reality in a grittier and more realistic way than earlier movements within art. The Symbolist movement was both a literary movement and an art movement. Works of poetry were also produced which were part of the Symbolist movement. Artists from the Symbolist movement would commonly express underlying themes through imagery. The imagery would act as a symbol or metaphor that would suggest ideas and evoke emotions, rather than directly depicting them. Edvard Munch, the creator of the Scream, was synonymous with the Symbolist movement. Most of Munch's work would tie back to symbolism in one way or another. In his early life, Munch would commonly experiment with other movements like Expressionism and sometimes Naturalism. Through this experimentation, as a young artist, he was able to find symbolism which he thought best expressed emotion through artwork. The Scream itself is one of them perfectly fits into the Symbolist movement. The Scream was a part of a series of Symbolist pieces. This series was entitled The Phrase of Life.
The Scream contains many underlying themes. Because of the piece's symbolist nature, the Scream has many themes that could be observed within the artwork. The work has themes of despair and dread. The Scream can also be seen as a social commentary. The Scream can be interpreted as a social commentary because it explores the human condition through these themes of despair and dread. The Scream is as well a visual representation of how trauma affects humans in society. Another theme that can be observed within the work would be visual and conceptual themes captured within the piece. The Scream is a symbolist piece, meaning that its visual imagery is a direct metaphor for ideals. The ideals and messages that are expressed within the piece can be seen as evidence for these visual and conceptual themes. The Scream is one of the most recognizable pieces throughout history, second to only the Mona Lisa. The Scream can be seen as one of the most iconic representations of human emotions and ideals in the Western world. The piece's relatable themes of despair and dread and how the piece is able to combine emotion with the vibrant pastel colors is one reason for its importance and the reason why it's so infamous. Along with this, the Scream is also a significant piece in art history. The Scream can be seen as a turning point in art history. It can be interpreted as a turn away from realism and naturalism, which were the dominating movements at the time. The Scream is a step forward into art, not being as an objective representation of artist ideals, but rather using art as a vehicle of expressing underlying themes and ideals. The Scream was last sold for $120 million. This giant price tag is a representation of the Scream's popularity and significance to art collectors and enthusiasts throughout the world. In my opinion, the Scream is in this catalog of pieces for many reasons. A huge reason for the Scream being a part of our catalog is that a representation of the symbolist art movement. It's also a very important piece to history. In history, and historical context, and ideals all help in creating a variety of reasons for its inclusion. The Scream is one of the most recognizable pieces in our catalog of artwork. The way it uses imagery and color creates themes that are relatable to humans. The Scream is one of the most recognizable pieces in our catalog for a good reason. In conclusion, The Scream is much more than just a well-known painting. It's a powerful and emotional piece that had a long-lasting impact on the art world. It expresses feelings of fear, anxiety, and inner turmoil in a way that many people can relate to, even today. Edvard Munch didn't just paint what he saw, he painted what he felt. That shift away from realistic images to emotional expressionism helped shape a new direction in art, where artists focused more on their inner world than the outside one. This painting is included in our catalog because it represents a major moment in art history. It shows the move from traditional realistic styles to more expressive symbolic ones. The Scream is a key example of symbolism and early expressionism, movements that allowed artists to explore deeper ideas, emotions, and human experiences. Its lasting influence can still be seen in modern and contemporary art today. The painting is also one of the most valuable in the world. It sold for $120 million at a 2012 auction, which shows how much it's respected and admired, but its importance goes far beyond its price. The Scream still connects with people on a personal level. Its swirling colors, dramatic lines, and the haunting figure at its center all come together to show something deeply human, something that many of us have felt, even if we can't always put it into words. The emotional connection is what makes The Scream so special and why it belongs in our catalog. It helps us understand how art can express more than just appearances. It can capture feelings, tell stories, and help us explore the human experience. For all these reasons, The Scream remains one of the most important works in art history and a vital part of any serious collection.